these are investments that were first made 2008, 9, 10, and maybe a little later also. So Policybazaar got its first product in 2008, Zomato in 2010. These companies, after 10, 11, 12 years, 13 years, are now maturing at a size and scale where they can go public. There are other more recent companies, perhaps also which have reached a size and scale, and therefore they can go public. So these are the seeds that were sown 10, 12 years ago, which are now maturing. And it had to happen. If it didn't happen now, it's happened 2 years later.
Right. Sanjeev, since you mentioned Zomato, Policybazaar, in fact, Deepinder in a recent interaction mentioned that, he counts you as a mentor. So what are you telling these entrepreneurs in terms of the mindset that they need to have when they transition from a privately well-funded unicorn to a public listed enterprise where, the stakeholders you answer to will be very different. It will be a wider set of stakeholders. And in a sense, you will manage a company which is the property of the commons. You will have retail shareholders, institutional shareholders. So what are you advising, a Deepinder Goyal or a Yashish Dahiya today?
So both Deepinder and Yashish are very smart guys. And so we've been speaking about stuff, but the truth is they already know it, right? It's a different level of scrutiny when you take public money as opposed to private money, right? You are now governed by SEBI. You have to sign agreements with the stock exchanges. The kind of disclosures, the kind of onerous responsibilities under the Companies Act that listed companies have to go through. Those are different order of governance. And you've got to tool up for that. You've got to gear up for that. You've got to sort of augment your board. You've got to figure out your internal processes, your disclosure norms, and so on. So they're doing all that. Now, we ourselves, when we went public in October 2006, we first began to talk about the IPO in Feb 2005. By April 2005, we had revamped our board, gotten a whole bunch of independents. I stepped down as chairman. It took us maybe from the time we appointed the merchant bankers in September 2005 till the IPO took about 13 months. It was a long time, right? During that process, we had to do 3 stat audits, because each time we had to do a new stat audit and something would come up and delay it. And so by the time we submitted the RFP, one more audit had to be done. So we did stat audits in December, in March, and then in June. And only then we went public. So you got to beef up your finance team, your secretarial team, your internal processes, your auditors. They have to sign off on much more onerous documents. So all those things have to be done. It's a different level of governance and scrutiny.